he's wondering about how do I work with my focus keyword? Is that something that only works if you pay for the SEO plugins, or is there a good way to do it on your own? And then I had a follow-up question that I've been working with some people about. Does capitalizations and grammar affect your SEO optimization? So it's a two-part question. Sure. I think we'll throw at you.
Tim, if you have a chance to comment, can you clarify, are you talking about like on a WordPress website, or if you could type it in really quick? I'd love to answer this, but be as specific as I can. So while I'm waiting for you to potentially type that in, focus key phrases are something like when you have a page on a website or a blog on a website or things like that, you're typically going to choose e-commerce. Okay, so you're typically going to choose what the most appropriate key phrase or what you want that page to represent. That's going to be your focus keyword or key phrase. Typically, again, we do a lot with, if you're using e-commerce with Shopify, there's a place that you can really load a decent amount of SEO in with Shopify. If you're using WordPress, we either use one of two programs, both of which are free for the basic versions. One would be called Rank Math, and one would be called Yoast. Both of those are going to give you a good guide path to making sure you're checking as many of the boxes as you can for SEO. So on Shopify, though, there are places where you can specify key phrases, meta descriptions, things like that. You shouldn't have to be paying for that. I know you said, is there a good way to do it on your own without paying? I believe there's decent capability in Shopify just for free, Tim. And, you know, again, it just WordPress. Yeah, I tried them both, but it only tells you I don't have a good key phrase.
It might be the length too. I know the shorter ones, and one of the things that if you read through the SEO stuff, like the fine print when it shows up, is it has to be shown enough times for it to be a proper keyword. So like say you have, I'm not sure what you're into, but we'll just stick with like auto tint. Like auto tint in its entirety has to show up like at least 5 or 6 times for it to be a quality key phrase. And then they kind of give you like the math rankings, like green light, yellow light, red light, as far as the SEO goes, when it gives you because it's not just the key phrase as well, whether it's you've metadated the photo, you're like you said, the meta description for like the SEO kind of blip that shows up as you're searching on Google. So there's a lot of different things that kind of go into that. But sometimes if you have a 5-word key phrase, it's going to say that it's not very good, and it might want you to shrink it down to 2 or 3 words. So, but I'll let Patrick jump in on this one too.
And you also should look at there's different programs you can use to do keyword research. And you could test for window tinting, you can see what the keywords are most being entered into Google, like what people are typing into Google most. And then you could choose that as a focus keyword and then create content around that focus key phrase. So you can kind of go around it the opposite way to say, okay, a good key phrase that gets a decent amount of traffic is this. So therefore, I'm going to build a piece of content around that key phrase versus saying, I want to write a piece of content about this and then trying to make the keyword or key phrase work with the content that you're writing. The other thing you don't want to do is you don't want to have a bunch of blogs or posts or things like that on your website that have the same keyword or key phrase. You want to use different keywords or key phrases. You don't want to have multiple pages on your website that are trying to be optimized for the same keywords or key phrases, because then Google gets confused on which one is actually the best one, if you will. So there's a way to get around that with what are called canonical links, but I don't want to get too deep into the weeds on that. But just know that you don't want to have multiple pages on your website optimized for the same exact thing.